Okay, so this is, I guess it's an exclusive, safe to say?
Yeah, this is exclusive.
Tell me, tell me what you're known as. Is it a graffiti artist? Is it a tagger? What is it?
I'll call myself a graffiti artist. I went by Ace for a few years. I've been tagging for about 2 years now, come October, so I'm about getting my marker. I would say I've been 1 year frequent graffiti, but Ace means always change evolution.
Tell me, yeah, explain that a little bit.
So always change evolution is kind of like the thing that came to me is fatherhood. I became a father, raised my kid, and realized that you always want them to do better than what you have. And kind of have that passed down and reminded that that person always cares about you and thinks about you.
So is it safe to say, and I'm just, forgive me, I'm just watching this, but is it safe to say that, how many have you done in Coburg?
My Google Maps timeline has it that I've tagged about 136 spots, but plus or minus what they've cleaned off, and the constant ones that I go over, I don't update those. So I would say I've tagged the town about 200 times.
From what to what, let's say?
From small things to little markers with, writing saying Ace from a whiteout pen, to big pieces that are 15 feet wide.
And tell me what types of buildings or whatever it's done on.
I'd say about 70% of my stuff is usually city town property. The remainder might be old buildings, new buildings still owned by different management. But I tend not to go for personal household residence, cars, things like that. And more recently, I've been working on using easily removable vinyl to kind of help down cost the town for them cleaning it up.
Do you understand why it upsets people?
Definitely. I understand why it upsets people. But as my counter, which isn't a counter at all, sometimes some of those cover-ups are to cover other words, offensive words related to drugs or just cursive words that when I'm walking around with my kids, I don't want my kids to see in that mask. That's how it really started.
Say that again? So explain that a little bit better.
So as an example, one of the first tags I did in Coburg was on King Street, just a little bit east of the Pizza. There's this little alleyway. There was a reference of a word down there. The word down in the drug term means heroin. Every time I walk by with my kid, he would see it and be like, what's down mean? I'm like, well, there's down and then there's up. And he would make a joke about it, and I'm like, in my head, I'm like, oh, it's so negative. Like, why does someone have to write that on the wall? So at that time, I did a Raptors logo. Raptors were doing good. That year, they actually won, which was great because it managed to stay for a bit. And that's when kind of the Ace from my online account became my graffiti tag.
When's the last time you've done one? Like, you still keep going?
Oh yeah, like I have tagged in my pocket, but last night I was out doing a piece about 15 feet wide, just south of the train track lines, east of Ontario Street.
Easy to see, like if I went there?
Oh yeah, very easy.
Is it done?
Yep.
All right. Forgive me, where is it then? So where can I?
If you go up to Victoria, where the curling club is.
Yeah.
The back of that building.
Oh, okay, all right, okay. And what's it say?
It says Ace as well, and then it's got my characters.
Okay. And what do you do there? Is it an octopus, forgive me, or one eye?
So the octopus is what we call him Onesie. He's kind of like a side character that I've been kind of working, just understanding shapes and sizes. And then the other guy is what everyone's calling is the infamous Peppa. Something that I learned how to draw because my kids are very young age. They like Peppa Pig, so they loved seeing it. I would just draw it corny and goofy.
Do they know what you do?
They know what I do, and that what I do is illegal and that should never be done.
So are you setting the right example for them? And I appreciate you being here, but I mean, you don't mind the hard questions, but I mean, what do they think of Dad doing that? Like, are you teaching them the right things, I guess?
I'm teaching them art at home, especially now with COVID. But I'm not teaching them to go throw up a slapper or spray cans on a legal wall. But at the same time, I'm helping promote them to, hopefully have their generation have legal walls and art walls that they can do this on to share their work with.
How old are you?
I'm 36 years old.
And from Coburg?
No.
Oh, like...
I'm from downtown Toronto.
And how long you been here for?
2 years.
So it's 2 years and
Since the day I moved here, I started tagging.
how do you know what to pick? Because I've seen them on, if I get this right, on William Street Bridge at the bottom.
Yep.
A Division Street Bridge at the bottom, like the railway bridges.
Yep.
Mailboxes on Division at Swain Street, if I remember. Like,
Mailboxes from here all the way up to Convenience K are pretty much going to have my tag on them. The East End is just something new area that I've been hitting. It's kind of out of my rural area when I go for my walks, but yeah, mostly I stick to downtown.
Is it safe to say tens of thousands of dollars in damage you've caused?
Yes. I wouldn't know the exact cost.
But I mean, it's got to be up there. If you've done roughly 200
Yeah.
places, it's tens of thousands of dollars in
Definitely.
damage.
I mean, the city workers, they come out at King and Division every day, Monday through Friday, and clean up that yellow box right here. And every night I go back out and I re-tag it. For the most part now, I'm not really tagging up new spots beside post boxes and big pieces, but rather throwing up slappers over my old spots. And then using these removable vinyl sheets to down cost the effect that they have to use.
And forgive me if I can ask everything, and you've been great because of this, but and forgive me, I got to ask this because of this, like obviously. But do you take any drugs or anything?
Me? No.
So nothing, like it's not,
No, it's not a substance abuse or mental health issue. I see a lot of that happening here and then, even some of the taggers, not locally here maybe. But I see that happening a lot more. A lot of people that have free time. Myself, I'm a full-time worker. I work in the IT industry.
Sorry, working?
In the IT industry.
Oh, yeah.
As a product developer.
And that's what, well, if I can say that, because on I won't say what social media, but on the social media, it says hacker.
White hat hacker, yes.
What's that mean?
It means we're the ethical hackers to help prevent the evil of hackers, prevent businesses from happening.
And are you worried about getting caught doing this?
I would take 100% liability. If that day came when they knocked on my door, I would say, welcome.
And you're admitting on camera that you've done approximately 200 in Coburg.
Yep. Yes. It's not nice to say, but as the time rolls out, it's added up to that.
And some are inches big, some are 15 feet, like the one last night or whatever?
Yeah, more recently the pieces are getting a lot bigger. I've been trained with some mentors online that are very big in the graffiti industry throughout the world. New York, Philadelphia, that train me 2 times a week to help kind of make my experience better and my drawing better.
How long does it take you to do one? Say the one that I'll visit it after this, but how long does it take you?
That one, off the head, maybe about 30, 40 minutes.
Oh, so not that long.
No, not that long at all. I mean, sometimes you can do a throw up, just simple name spray, would take 4 seconds, maybe 20 at tops.
And what do you use, like spray cans?
Yep, yeah, so I just use graffiti spray cans. The only difference really is that they're low pressure, so they come out a lot smoother. And then you buy all these different spray caps that are different sizes, widths, create flares, so you can really kind of define it a bit more.
So one of the last questions I can think of is if you're talking to 200 people, 200, if I can say victims, and again, correct me if I'm wrong,
Yep.
but if I can say that you're talking to 200 people that have been affected by your graffiti, what would you say to them?
Graffiti's illegal. If you're thinking about doing it, do it in a black book.
But what about the people that have had your graffiti on their buildings? What would you say to the people that have been affected by your, if I can say, artwork?
Yeah, if it was on their building, I apologize for that. The removal is easy, and I'm just really spreading the word to hopefully promote a legal wall and the arts and entertainment industry to be a little bit more lively on Coburg.
And to carry on with that, so you want a legal wall?
That would be amazing, yeah. I see them in Toronto, I see them in Oshawa and other towns. And it really promotes it. I saw somewhere up north that the skate park got vandalized. And now they're thinking about bringing sponsors in to do graffiti tagging. And I thought that's pretty neat, cool to do, but you're not really hitting your community. You're hitting maybe local businesses. But those, the other 98% of the people living in your town can't express their freedom.
Yeah. So that's what it's all about. Is that what drives you?
That's what drives me.
Okay. Anything else?
Everything I do is with my opposite hand.
Meaning?
I'm right-handed, and I do everything with my left hand.
How come? What do you mean? Where's that come from? What's that?
It's just a challenge. Always change evolution. Just try it and do something different.
And when did you come up with that? Like, because of your kids?
The always change evolution was when my first kid was born. The Ace name kind of came to me. But the actual graffiti and me bringing it to graffiti was 2 years ago.
Tell me about the number of people. Like, you're in the know.
Yeah, I would say, like, there's about 10 in the community that do tagging. There's many more that do black book, like drawing in books, but don't post on the streets because it is illegal. If we had a legal wall, I'm sure those numbers would begin to pour out and the art would literally begin to flow, just like Van de Graaff says, ebbs and flow, the flow would come.
Is there anything off limits?
People's houses, cars. I don't do personal vendetta. Like, if someone cuts me off in a car and I know where they live, I'm not going to go tag their house. It's a respect thing. Like, if someone tags over my own work, I'm supposed to get mad at it, but sometimes I just respect it for the art. Graffiti comes and goes, and that's the great thing about it. It's experience.
Do you consider yourself a criminal?
A criminal is a very loose term, but yes, I would be guilty. I'd consider myself a criminal, but I'm not, in a syndicate. This is not a gang. This is just one person doing work.
Tell me about this. What do I say? Tell me about this, Ace. Like, is that what do I use? What do I say? Name Ace?
Yeah. You call me Ace.
Tell me about this, Ace.
I guess we'll call this the mural wall. The top half is something I did probably about 2 years ago. To be honest, in a few weeks it'll probably get changed and done over. The bottom, I threw this little Banksy up that had the heart balloon on it as a test to do the vinyl that's easily removable just by peeling it off, no having to paint over it. Just as an expression of artwork. COVID's happening, everyone's got to keep their distance, everyone be safe, just like Ace says. A few weeks later, we had another artist come to town and put a Banksy up on the beach, so I covered it up with a question mark. That really made me begin to think about a legal wall and speaking to people, so I threw a link up there, hoping that we could get some names on there, and just to remind everyone that's Sonder, where you stand right now might be, someone else's time in life when they came by here and looked at it and thought about it differently, and we have to respect everyone's own opinions, really.
Just seeing these, when you go out at night,
Yep.
do you know what and where you're going to do, or does it just come to you?
If I find a new spot I haven't hit, they'll think about it. Like in recent, Convenience K had a new box, black box, put beside the blue box. That was a prime piece of real estate to get my name out there. That was a date night, I would call. But for the most part, it's literally just going for a walk around town.
Sorry, what do you say, a date night?
A date night.
Define that. What do you mean date? Like,
I'm a married man. Some days the kids are at home, some days the kids aren't at home.
so when they, so either way though, but I mean, so is your family with you sometimes when you do this?
The intention isn't to go out here and do this together, but we might be going out enjoying other experiences. And I have a pocket full of stuff that I just throw up.
Do you have anything on now?
Yep, I do have one right now. So I have this little one guy, we call him 1Z. He's kind of my COVID-19 campaign to be safe and remind everyone that we're not alone. And the lines are the 3 strong lines for the kids. Be strong,
Tell me about, Ace, tell me about this. You did this, when did you do this?
This is probably about a month old. I got an order of a bunch of cans and decided I'd actually try to do this. This would have been my second mural piece in a big size, and really kind of understand how the brushes or the can control really works, and train myself for better work in the future.
Is this one of your bigger ones?
This would be my second biggest one. My first biggest one is sitting closely at the CCC near MacArthur. There's a pathway you can walk that leads to a train track and a bridge line. That piece is probably about 10 feet, 10 feet higher, but the same width.
And you did Ace?
Yes.
And above Ace is
Inox.
So that's not you?
No.
Okay. And can we walk down and see the other one?
And then this,
Sorry.
From what I can see, was paper, but people have gotten mad and crossed it out. So I figured why not join it, like,
Yeah.
you know, it should just get covered up completely.
Yeah.
And the paper actually does some pretty good work.
And same thing, is that your on the bottom?
The mome, no, that's someone new up and coming. Not one of my family members.
Your pig though?
Yeah, my pig. The Peppa Pig, or what'd they say? The pig on meth, I think it was.
And is that COVID?
Yeah, that's COVID. Yeah, that's literally the kind of faces and kind of like disease kind of getting out there, and ones you kind of reminding everyone be safe.
Not yours?
Not mine.
So the only one up here that's yours is
That one?
Sorry, which
yes, that one is the only one is mine.
Yeah. So what about when you see stuff like this?
I see. I cover it up instantly.
So you'd cover up that with something else?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Is that just a name of somebody, Toy Rat?
I'm gonna say that it's actually two words put together: toy and rat. So toy being that it's new work that's cheap and could have been done a lot better. Probably just because of these fades. You see, they didn't put a lot of time letting the can get thick and sharp like this. Literally, he didn't shake the can long enough. And then the rat is he probably got caught and snitched out on people.
Now Slurp is yours.
Yes.
How would you do, that's none of the top ones are yours?
No.
Obviously ladder, eh?
Fire ladders, they're great.
What do you mean?
Fire ladders for apartment buildings.
Yeah?
To go down from floor to floor, you can buy them online to go 5, 10, 20 feet high. Sometimes I'll give you access to rooftops that weren't imaginable.
And does your pallet ever get cleaned here? Like, do they paint over it, or since you've been here?
Since I've been here, no, not in the 2 years.
Because it looks like the paint even looks kind of, I'm not saying it's new, but it doesn't look.
Yeah, like you can see, it was definitely done in a time.
Yeah.
That was different, redone. But
yeah.
You know, I'm probably sure every couple of years I think about it, and
yeah.
you probably look at the cost of hiring someone, the cost of it itself and materials, and then if they're doing that every year.
That's what I was going to say. If this got redone, what would happen?
Oh, you've just opened up a blank canvas. There's going to be messages going out on board saying the wall's back open. Come grab it, because now you don't have to go cover someone else's up and disrespect them. But in my eyes, I see this stuff here that are crossed out in this net, and I'll just cover right over it because they've ruined someone's artwork.
And I know this might be hypocritical, so as I say, forgive me for saying this, but I mean, when you say, you know, you're saying more or less that that's not good, but as we've talked about, isn't the beauty in the eye of the beholder?
It's beauty in the eye of the beholder, definitely. I respect these people doing their artwork. You have to learn somewhere, and you have to find canvas for that area. So, you know, at some point it's going to happen, whether it's on a, you know, cardboard, Bristol board, you know, piece of plywood, or like this, back of a wall. Or just pure rivalry, jealousy.
It's not really and to let people understand, and correct me if I'm wrong, it's not person on person or anger on anger, and it's not sending gang signs, is it? Or is it?
From my experience and from what I do, it's no kind of gang signs, no rivalry. But that doesn't go to say, you know, after watching various documentaries on graffiti, that there is gangs, there is wild rivalry, and spots for space that should be claimed as yours. These rules that you should abide by, but that doesn't mean necessarily you have to follow the code, I guess you could say.
Nothing really in Coburg that you found though like that?
No.